quiet title to the declaratory relief. Because declaratory relief, you put a permanent cloud on title, you're stripping, potentially stripping the assignment and the deed of trust, and or one or all, and that permanent cloud on title cannot be advanced upon. So essentially, you're not quieting title, but you're taking the load, the monkey off your back. Okay, so we know the difference of real property and land. Do you? What is the difference of real property and land? We are dealing in a civil venue, and we will use the civil and the public terms because we're dealing with real property. In a nutshell, there is a term for land, and it's dirt, earth, soil, ground, land. Those are the only 5 acceptable terms for your home. You don't have a home, you don't have a house. I want to get this point across to you guys. You have land. Okay? Now, this is an important thing to understand. But since you've already contracted with the lender using a legal description and not meets and bounds, it's important for us to understand that we need to go with the elements of the contract and dispute the elements of the contract itself to do the trust and so on. So this webinar will cover the transfer of split rights and or secured interest in law in context of securitization, and proving and demonstrating the lawful failure of split rights in securitization using a CODA, the chain of title assessment. Adjudication of rights through a declaratory complaint and judgment leading to your next action, which is quiet title. Because if you take the lender out through this process first, the declaratory relief package, and you get one of those assignments, you get the deed of trust, whatever, you quieted that or clouded permanently that particular portion of your title. Going after an action in quiet title then becomes a whole lot easier because the people you technically need to serve are who? Where are they? Think about that. In layman's terms, this is going to teach you how to sue the lender by pulling out your 45 of law and smoking them, using the statutes that they did not honor themselves. The ones that are in place to make sure those allonges are securely attached, to make sure that the chain of title is proper. Fundamental transfer of perfected title is accomplished through a grant deed, which contains a pledge or covenant of season guaranteeing that the one transferring the right of possession is fully seized. Okay? That's important. That's a big word. It presumes the freehold, unencumbered, unrestricted possession, providing the basis for warranty deed, guaranteeing that the seller's right of disposal is free from all encumbrances, which the current freehold seller will defend. Season like this.
I'm actually delighted to say that I don't look like this either. So I think it's important. What you can notice quite clearly, the women wearing lovely hats and being very prim and proper, whereas the men down the front are, well, they're a bit of a shambles, aren't they? Let's face it, okay? So very, very kind of disturbing, and what this gentleman here is doing, I can't imagine. And hopefully no one will be like that tonight. So science fiction has actually had a great role in science over the years. You can argue quite easily that science fiction has predicted many things that go on in science now. And even you can start to think about how science fiction has actually inspired scientists in what they choose to study. I quite regularly find myself in meetings that I call Star Trek meetings. These are meetings where I'm sat with other scientists, and we're supposed to think, if there are no holds barred, there's nothing, just think whatever you like. What would you try to do? And without fail, we come up with something which has been in an episode of Star Trek at some point, every single time. And it's interesting to think about the role between the fiction, the novels, and what ends up happening in scientific labs. One area where there is clearly a link between science fiction and what happens in science and engineering is robotics. In the area of robotics, robots have been seen in films and TV programs basically as long as TV programs and films have existed. So you go right back to 1927 to Metropolis, a classic of science fiction, and then obviously a very early film includes robots. You can think about all kinds of programs. Back in the 50s, a popular TV program in the 50s called Lost in Space. Okay, again, another one which was made into a film at some point, which wasn't quite as good as the original. And then there's Robbie the Robot, okay, from Forbidden Planet, another absolute classic icon of cinema. And it is really interesting to think how scientists have tried to respond to these visions of the future. One area which has inspired many people is actually something called Fantastic Voyage. So Fantastic Voyage was actually a film before it was a book. So it was novelized, as they say, by Isaac Asimov, okay? And you can read this, but this is actually based on the script of the film Fantastic Voyage. And what happens in here is that humans are shrunk, okay, down to very small sizes, and have a machine which they can actually go around someone's body. Okay, it's an interesting idea and has inspired many scientists. Yeah. Not necessarily shrinking humans, although we probably all thought of humans we would like to shrink, but we